So this is streaming out about... Okay, we're going to be doing some map review. There, now I can see chat. By map review, do you mean breaking down strats on maps? Or a team playing a certain map well? A little bit of both. We're going to be doing a little bit of both. I'm going to help... So the team that I'm coaching is the Feedcisco Shake. They're awesome. They're a Plat Diamond team. I've worked with them for a while, and like I have a bunch of friends on this team, and like they're all really awesome people. And so we're going to be breaking down some maps for them, and also helping them to plan based on the hero pools that exist in the team, because they're playing in the open div. I use that $5 on Discord Nitro instead. Haha, smile. So my question for the team is, which maps do you want to go over? I'm assuming we want to go over at least maps from the open division.
I would think so.
Yeah, let me take a look at the map pool again. Oh, okay. It's Nepal, Lijiang Tower, Rialto, Watchpoint, Gibraltar. I think probably Rialto.
Rialto?
Is the one that I would like to go over, because I don't know how to play very well on that, to be honest.
All right, let's start with Rialto. That was the cancel button. Okay, so I guess my question is, what 2 DPS, the best way to start this is, what 2 DPS do we want to run here? Because we can, it's easiest to work off as the DPS combo that we have. So I guess, do we have Owl and Darth as our DPS?
No.
And Swiss? No?
Owl, Plot, and Swiss.
Owl, Plot, and Swiss. Okay.
I did the Kareev, and I was like, no more DPS.
Oh yeah, that's right, you're an off support now. Okay, so we have Owl, who mostly is going to be playing... She mostly is strongest on Widow and Pharah. Pharah, where are you? Where's Pharah? Where the actual fuck is Pharah?
Third from the top.
There she is, okay. Widow and Pharah. We have Swiss... No, wait, we have Plot. Start with Plot. Plot plays Tracer. Oh my god, I hate looking through this.
Tracer's near the top.
Yeah.
Why is it not in alphabetical order? Whee!
I know.
We have Tracer.
It's in alphabetical
what else
order
does-
by DPS.
What else
We've
does
been
Swiss play?
also trying to play Sombra.
Yeah, it's in alphabetical
Who
order
do we
by
have on
offense,
Sombra?
defense, tank, and...
I've been the one playing her, but
That was Swiss just now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Swiss. And you also play... What's the rest of your hero pool for DPS, Swiss?
Hanzo.
So, okay. So this is actually pretty good. Okay, so we have a lot of potentials that we can run here. I think right now, the strongest bet...
Plot also plays McCree, if you want to put that on there too.
Okay, we'll put a McQueen in there. This is really good. This is actually a pretty flexible hero pool to work with. I'm gonna assume that we can also throw a Genji on top of this Tracer, and I'm gonna pretend that we can also throw a soldier here.
That's actually somewhat realistic, so...
Wait, poggers! Okay, so we're gonna work off of this. Okay, so personally, what I've seen a lot and what a lot of teams are doing is they're pretty much running Sombra by default on basically every map. Sombra is stupidly strong right now. Strongest attacking composition here, it kind of depends. You can run Sombra and Widow, you can run Sombra Tracer, or you can run Sombra Hanzo, I think are the best choices. You can also run Pharah, but I think playing Pharah Sombra has pros and cons. I think these are the strongest 3 choices, and I think Pharah is kind of like a niche pick depending on how you want to accomplish it. And then depending on which of the DPS you want to play, you can either play Ryan Zarya, which is a little bit weaker, but is good if you kind of... That's the wrong Ryan and Zarya. Heh. A little bit...
You're gonna delete the McCree, no!
Oh, I did.
Rip.
That's fine. We don't need him right now.
Pepe hands.
We don't need that McQueen. Okay. So, you can either play Ryan Zarya, or you can play Winston Diva, and I don't think Hammond is here yet. They have not updated Stat Banana to include Hammond. So we're gonna pretend...
So make him a Mercy.
No, because we might run Mercy. So we're gonna pretend that Brig is a Hammond. Everyone just pretend that Brig is a Hammond. Because we don't have Hammond as Tap Nana right now. So.
Oh, let Alry in.
Alry's coming! Yay! Okay, let me add her to the DM. Alry. Add. Drag Beck, get in there so you can have the satisfaction of deleting her in the game, right?
Alright, now I'm gonna catch up to whatever you guys are doing.
Alright, we're talking about
didn't
Rialto
get
and what we
terribly
can
far.
run. We didn't get too far. Okay, so
FX. Lol.
if we want to run Zarya and Ryan, I honestly think I wouldn't run Sombra. I would run something else. So maybe either Widow Hanzo or Widow Farah. It's a little bit weaker. But then you can run Mercy, and I would run probably Ana in this scenario. You could run... That's blue. Let's just drag all the supports in because we're going to need them to talk about them. Okay. I would run... We're in a meta where running double main support on a Mercy is actually viable. This way you can have your Farah Mercy playing together, and what will happen is Farah is predominantly going to play over the top of this building, so she can control... Will it let me draw? Yes, it will. So she's going to control the top of this roof, which will give her sightlines in this area, and she'll also be able to scout this little bush thing, which I always call it bush, but there's no like formal call out for it, even though I think there should be. It also gives you the chance to boop conk off anybody who's playing on balcony of the hotel, which is really important because a lot of the time they will try and post a widow up there. So, or like some people will do the Orisa bunker defense up top there. So if you have a Farah, you can just knock them off. It's really good. Basically, if you're running Ryan Zarya, in this composition, you want the Ana to kind of play on payload. She'll be the payload bot, and she'll be kind of pocketing the tanks while Farah and Mercy work together as a duo. Your goal is to kind of push the payload at least through this kind of alleyway, and then that gives your Widow sightlines via balcony, or she can rotate into hotel to fight people who are moving around.
Okay, so what you're saying for Ana is to basically be Zen, but shoot your tanks, not their tank.
Yeah, exactly. Be a Zenyatta who, like, is better at surviving dives, because right now, like, Mercy... Anytime Mercy gets nerfed, Zen gets indirectly nerfed. Because right now, if a monkey jumps a Zen, even if he's pocketed by Mercy, the monkey just deals instantly 150 damage. Because Mercy's heal is so low. So, like, the Zen...
150?
Yeah, the Zen just gets deleted.
How does he deal 150 damage?
You land, like, okay, so you jump in the, it's not, like, technically instant, but, like, so you do your lightning beam,
Combo,
right, you do your lightning beam in the air, you land on him, and you punch him, and then you punch him again. And the problem is Mercy can't mitigate, like, as much of the combo by, like, pocketing him in advance, because her heal per second is lower, so you get back less HP off the initial combo. I think it's 150 HP. Me and Gern were discussing this earlier. It might not be exactly 150 HP.
Basically, he gets deleted. He dies.
And with the Winston buff that they theoretically put in, I don't know if it's a bug or not, it's really reliable right now too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty scary right now to be a Zenyatta. You can play Zenyatta, but it's a little bit tougher. I think having Zenyatta on the payload here, like, instead of a Mercy, like, instead of an Ana, is really bad, because the Zen is trying to pocket the two tanks and the Widow, and then, like, Mercy now has to pocket him, because he's, like, so weak in this meta, and he'll just get destroyed, that she can't play with the Farah. And then the Farah has less impact, because there's not a Mercy playing with her. So I think you just, like, default most of the time if you don't have a comfortable Lucio player, because you can play Lucio instead, but you have to play a little bit more, like, a lot more passive with the tank play, which kind of sucks when you're running Ryan Zarya. Oh, I don't want to reset palette. I want to erase everything. Erase. Oh wait,
I think there's an actual clear.
that
I
didn't
do have
do
to
it.
say, I'd like us to run more Annas. I've been playing with a few really good Annas lately, and it's like I've been able to get healed by an Anna and not have a Pharah, or not have a Pharah, not have a Mercy at all, and it's been really
Ooh,
nice.
poggers. That's good.
I agree.
So that's one way to start this.
I think if we do Calm on Mercy and Modelo on Ana, it can be good.
Pog.
I just want to make sure he's comfortable on his Ana. Because he seemed like he was frustrated with his performance in scrims and wanted to go back to Zen for a while, but we can talk about that during the next scrim.
For sure.
Sounds good. Alternatives here are you can of course swap the Widow for a Hanzo if you're more comfortable running Hanzo, Pharah. Kind of just depends on what people are comfortable with, but you can basically run a sniper and a Pharah. That'll work pretty well. I think dive tanks are back in style again, which is a really big feels good. Al, we're using Brig as a Hammond because there's no Hammond in Stat Banana, so
So you're using Blue Brig.
we're using. Oh yeah, we're using Brig. Yeah, Brig is our
Make
Hammond.
Brig Blue. Because
Actually,
then
do
it's
we
different
have?
than the red
Do you guys
Brig.
have a Hammond player or someone who's confident or like really enjoys and wants to play Hammond?
We have like 3 people who really want to
Yeah.
play him.
Okay,
Swiss,
so we
Swiss
can build.
is our primary. Swiss is our primary Hammond
we do-
player.
Really?
No Chief
Three
is
tanks.
as
think
well
Chief
during
wants
triple
to.
tank, but during double tank, Chief
Yeah.
is our go-to. And if we want to run some weird comp, I'm a decent Hammond too.
Okay, so we can build Hammond comps, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so what's really common and what I'm seeing a lot of is you run Sombra and Tracer, or you run Sombra and Genji. I think you run Sombra, that is the blue Genji. Red Genji. You run Sombra Tracer, Sombra Genji, or you can run Sombra Widow if you kind of want to play the long con game. I think personally the strongest combination on this map specifically with Sombra is Genji or Widow, just because Genji has easy access onto the balcony, onto hotel, or onto the garden balcony in the back. Whereas Tracer kind of has to also get into position because these are high ground locations. Widow works well, of course, because Widow is pretty good on this map. If you place her on balcony, she has really good sight lines. If you move her into hotel, she can see the whole map. She could rotate around by the garden bridge, and then she has sight lines of the whole map again. So Widow, again, really, really strong on this map. There has to be a clear.
Claude isn't here right now, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
Correct.
I want to chat with him and we can chat about who wants to Sombra here and things like that, because I can work on my Genji and Widow, and if he wants to take over Sombra,
Do you seem
that
to
could
not
work
know
really
the
well.
team well because you do not know the players? It's more that, like, because I've been coaching them, like,
Yeah,
pretty
so
sporadically
I
because
just
I
mean
if we run a
scrim.
comp that if we
Because you're
Like, I
running
scrim so
off
much during the
start
week
and
that I
open
can
vision,
only
right?
really help out as an assistant
Or
That was
coach.
are you
just-
not?
And
that
their
was just last week
roster
because we only had one
is
support
more than
available.
6 people. Their roster
Do-
is
Do we have more than one support available for open division?
8 or 9 people. Like, they have
I
a
believe
full
we do. I think
roster.
Sparky's gonna be here.
So there's like a lot of
I don't
people
think
and there's a
Sparky's
lot
part
of mixed hero
And
pools.
Modelo.
Division team.
So I know like the primary
Modelo.
Either
hero
way-
of
either way,
every
we have
single
Common and Modelo,
person
if
on the
Sparky can't
team,
make it.
but like I
I
don't
was
know their
sure about that.
secondary or
Okay.
like all their flex heroes. It's a really big roster.
That was pretty
think
useless
Sparky
on
was on
off
it.
support also.
Yeah, Gear Sombra is actually really good. I like it a lot.
Poggers. Okay, so speaking of Sombra, what you want to do with Sombra, essentially when you come out, is you want to set up. There are basically 2 spots where you can set up a dive. One is you set up a dive in main, assuming they're doing some kind of defensive hotel. So that's spot 1. And then spot 2 is you set up a dive in this area, assuming they give you the space, so they're positioned a little bit further back. So if they're positioned right about here, then they're going to try and retreat backwards towards 2, and then that's where you set up your dive. Either way, whichever way you want to set up this dive, what you want to do is you want to send your Sombra to take at least 1 health pack that is going to benefit your team. So either take the hotel mini, I've seen some Sombras tank, or I think the garden mega is really, really high value. It's, in my opinion, really, really strong. You can also take the mini like inside the room to the side of the garden. I don't like it. as much. I think like it's really hard for your tanks and stuff to benefit from it just because they have to walk into this really tiny hallway that's in like the middle of enemy territory. But Sombra wants to essentially take one of those megas, set up a translocator somewhere. So like I like to place mine here, or like I'll throw it in the benches here, or like if I'm expecting that they have a widow, I'll put it up top here so that if she hooks back here, I can meet her. Or I'll put it like in hotel somewhere near the mini. And essentially you want to set up a dive or a really big hack. So Sombra essentially wants to go invis, go scout their team, figure out where they're defending, what they're holding on to, feed that information to her team, make sure she's got a health pack set up to retreat to, make sure she's got her translocator set up somewhere. And then what's going to happen is with your dive tanks, you're going to send your dive tanks, your Genji, and you're going to dive onto whatever it is that the Sombra scouts, and that's going to be very dependent. Oftentimes, if they're also running more traditional stuff, it's going to be an Ana, but it might also be a Zen, because who knows? Cancel. If you are running a Widow, in this case, so instead of running Sombra Genji, you're running Sombra Widow, then you want to kind of soft dive with the tanks. You want the tanks to kind of like not hard commit onto a target. Basically just engage, take a bunch of the space, and then retreat onto the Mega or the Mini, get healed up, or retreat to wherever your Ana is posted up, which is probably going to be on the payload. Or if you are running a Mercy, which you can, then the Mercy will go in with them and help them hard engage, and then she'll be able to retreat to your Widow via the Guardian Angel. Sombra Dive is really strong. The really fun thing about running dive tanks is you have your choice of which combination of the tanks that you want to run. So you can either run Winston, Hammond, and Diva. So you can run triple tank solo Sombra, which I think is fun, but it can be a little
damage.
It can be like really heavy on your supports to keep the 3 tanks alive, but you have really high burst damage. So you can run all 3 dive tanks if you want to. You can run Winston Diva if you like want to run something more traditional, if that's what you're comfortable with. Or you can run Diva Hammond and just really fly in their face and have a ton of burst damage. And then that, like, I am terrified of Hammond Diva because, like, nobody can contest the Widow. Because the Hammond is, like, the world's scariest peel. Because he can just hook back and swat you into the ocean. So I think, for first point, like, those are kind of your options for your DPS and your tanks, primarily. And then for your supports, we're looking mostly...
Our best support.
Our best support combo is usually going to be these two, Ana Lucio, or Ana and Mercy. You can run Mercy Zen, but you have to like just be aware of the fact that it's going to strain your resources because the Zen is going to require more pocket than he used to. And you can run Mercy Lucio, but you have to be really careful about the fact that this is the weakest possible support combination for healing tanks. So I think if you were going to run, like if you were going to commit to Mercy Lucio, I would run some sort of like triple DPS dive with like a solo Winston and then run like Sombra Widow Genji or something. Thoughts, questions, concerns, maybe other suggestions or things you want to think about trying? I know it's a lot to take in.
What's the most common defense comp here that we would likely run into this?
What I've been seeing the most has been... I've been seeing a lot of Widow. I think I've seen Widow every single time I've scrimmed this map, actually. So Widow's played a lot, and I've seen a lot of, like, in the past week or so of scrims since the change, I've seen dive tanks with Widow Sombra. Sometimes I've even seen, like, a ton of Doomfist, but I don't think we have, like, a Doomfist player on our team. So I'm not really gonna plan around a Doomfist, but I've seen a lot of Doomfist. I've seen a lot of Widow. I've seen a lot of Sombra, and I've seen a lot of like the dive tanks.
Actually, I have one question about supports because
Yeah.
I remember seeing in contenders they are starting to run this a little bit. I don't think it's like hugely popular, but they're doing an Ana Brig combo.
Yeah, I think Ana Brig is pretty strong, like legitimately.
It seems really good because Brig just goes up and pushes for the front line, and then everybody's just held up there, and then Ana can basically peel for the back line with Sleep Dart and Nade.
Yeah, I think that's totally viable. I think Ana Brig is really strong because Brig can Brig is the second scariest possible peel for an Ana. Like if there's an Ana and she's got a Brig next to her, like you can't dive that. Like you just die. The Ana instantly has 1,000,000 HP. She's a fuck ton of armor, and like if you jump her, you just get fucking bashed into Narnia. Fuck this hero. This hero's trash. Fuck Brig. But yeah, you can run on a Brig. It also plays really well if you do want to run Rein Zarya. I think having a Brig Ana is really, really strong. Hey kittens, mommy, what's up? We're talking about
But Brig Ana
comps.
would be a lot weaker on defense, obviously, because Brig has to
Brig has to hit people.
play around
in order,
high. Well,
yeah,
she has to play around high ground, which is really bad for her.
yeah,
What
exactly.
DPS would you play with a Brigana?
Not far.
Yeah, not Farah.
Not Genji. Or not Hanzo. I think Genji's probably pretty good. Tracer's okay. Sombra's fine. Who was the other hero I had up here?
Widow's pretty okay.
Yeah,
too.
and Widow's the other one. Okay. I was like, I'm missing a DPS somewhere. Widow's pretty okay. So
Well,
I would pick
Okay.
And it takes to be which tanks? Rein Zarya?
Rein Zarya I think is strongest, but you can run that. You
or
can
Rein Diva.
yeah, or Rein Diva. Bye payload. Rein Zarya, it feels bad. The Zarya meta's already over, dude. Rein Diva is like pretty much
That nerf to her grab was actually gigantic.
Rein Diva. Yeah, Kittens is suggesting Sombra Genji. I think Sombra Genji is just like on this map. Sombra Genji are like the primary two.
Yeah.
Widow and Tracer are good. Someone in chat is asking about why not Tracer. Pretty much the only disadvantage to Tracer is she has to take time to get up on the high ground,
High ground.
whereas Genji gets free wall climb. Feels bad.
I like where Icebound is going with this. Attack Torb, very good.
Attack toward Pog. Okay,
I'll do it.
can I select all of these and mass delete them? Yes, I can. Poggers. Okay, defense. Couple different options. So you can run basically the same thing you do on attack, where you run like the most common defense that I've seen is Widow Sombra, because it's really, really, really goddamn strong. Oh, Kittens brings up another really good point about Tracer. Tracer doesn't give the almost guaranteed win condition, which is Nanoblade EMP, and Nanoblade EMP is just actually a haha. Like you just lose,
insane.
you just lose the game. Like if you get Nanoblade, like if the enemy team has Nanoblade EMP, just say your prayers and cry. Tracer Sombra, I have seen people run like the initial Hog Orisa. I think Hog in this meta is actually a big haha. Oh, thanks kittens. Thanks for stopping by, baby. Much appreciated. I think Hog in this meta is a giant teehee. But I mean, if your Hog is confident and like really wants to play around in Orisa, you can do it. I think right now, if you're gonna play an off tank with Orisa, it's probably going to be Diva. Like
Diva.
What about
99
Hammond
point.
with Orisa?
I
mean, they
think
do
it's-
very different things.
I think they do. Yeah, like they just
There's
do.
no one to capitalize on the space that Hammond makes.
Yeah, because Orisa, like
If you're playing
Orisa wants
Orisa.
to bunker down, right, and like wants to hold her ground in one spot, and Hammond wants to like be really aggressive in their face, taking as much space as possible. So like they kind of contradict each other. Like you can kind of make it work because you can combo something like the Orisa pull and the
his
pile
gathering,
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are potentials there. I just don't see it as like particularly overwhelmingly strong. Whereas like
Yeah.
the Diva DM is going to buy Orisa a little bit more shoot time if she needs it. It's going to give free heal onto her from your Ana, who is presumably parked all the way back here. You're probably also running a Lucio. It's a red Lucio. Probably also running a.
You want a red team Lucio. Red team Lucios are always better.
Red team Lucios are the best one. Your Lucio is going to speed your Orisa and Diva around, and then you also have Diva to do things like contest the high ground on the balcony, which is really strong. So I think you can run Orisa here. You can run Reinhardt here with a Diva. I guess you can run Zarya. It's kind of weak, though, because there's so much high ground. You can do it. I wouldn't recommend
Zarya
it.
at first point is hard.
It's really tough.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You could always run Hammond here if you want to run dive tanks, and then of course all the dive tanks are strong. But I think the same attacking DPS work well on defense. Hey, Hikari, welcome back. 7 months. Sombra on defense? Okay, let's do that actually. I'm gonna delete all these other guys real quick. So Sombra, what you want to do is you want to do two things. So defending Sombra has two advantages over attacking Sombra that you want to capitalize on immediately. First one is that you get first choice of all the health packs on the map. Because no matter what, you're going to get the opportunity to hack first because enemy Sombra has to leave spawn and you don't. So you have your choice of every single health pack on the map, and you get to choose which ones you want. I think the strongest ones to take, the strongest one is this mini here, Garden. So Garden and this mini here. You can also take Hotel, depending on where your team wants to fight. I think those are the three strongest health packs to take. The other thing is you get to recon first, which means you get to know the enemy team comp before they have a chance to know... Oops. Ah! Select tool. We delete. You get to scout their team before their team gets to scout you. And I've had the misfortune of being the attacking Sombra where I walk out of spawn and I instantly get hacked by the enemy Sombra and then I'm useless for 6 seconds. So, defending Sombra has a lot of advantages. So what you want to do is you want to place a translocator. So, oh, that's really big. Why did that draw so huge? Okay, I'll just circle it. Somewhere on the map, somewhere on the map, you want to, like, when you come out of spawn, like when your team is setting up, you want to place your translocator next to whatever mini or mega that you want to take. So if the mini, if you want this mini here, you would come out of spawn, right? You put your translocator here. You go invis. You walk to where their spawn is, and you post up somewhere. So maybe here, and you watch for whatever their team is, right? So maybe you see the Sombra. She comes out of spawn and she invises, and you see that they have a Pharah or whatever the fuck. You see what their team comp is, and you relate it back to your team. And immediately from that, your IGL is able to determine, based on their team comp, what their win condition is and what their goal is going into this very first fight. So you have that to your advantage immediately. As soon as you see that, if you see a target that you want to engage on or that you can get a hack on, so they have maybe so their Sombra is off in Narnia doing Sombra things, and maybe you see, where is he? You see their Reinhardt, and he's up a little bit ahead of the rest of his team taking space. The rest of his team is grouping on the payload, right? You decloak here, you hack him, and you translocate back, right? You call that hack to your team. Your entire team now knows, hey, they have no shield. If we want to take an early engage on this Reinhardt, we can now do that. And your whole team pounces on this Reinhardt, kills him, and then resets. So as Sombra, your primary goal is you want to deny, and you want to like get first pick of the good like health packs on the map. You want to instantly cuck their shields or their supports or something, and scout their team. And you want to take advantage of the fact that you always have first scout. And then the rest of the game, you can just harass their Sombra, because their Sombra now is going to be trying to fight you for these health packs. She's going to be trying to get into your backline to get hacks off. And, like, the highest value hack in the game that you can get right now as Sombra is the enemy Sombra. Because if she's in your backline and you hack her, she just dies. So I think, like, from what I've been practicing, from what I've been seeing, from what other coaches have been telling me, your primary job as Sombra is to be a recon bot. A recon bot and a hack bot.
What percentage of the time do you think Sombra is invisible in, like, the optimal playstyle?
More than 50. Like, more than half. Maybe, like, 65 to 75% of the time. You pretty much are cloaked and calling out what you see to your team until they are ready to engage, and then you just decloak and assassinate people who have no idea you're there.
Yeah.
You're basically like a weaker Sonic Arrow.
Yeah, pretty much. Because Sombra's damage is, like, one of the lowest in the game. Like, a full Sombra clip does half of a Tracer clip.
No, doesn't it do the same damage as Tracer? Yeah, no, it does the same damage as Tracer, but over twice the time.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, like, it takes twice as long, so it's basically like half a Tracer clip. Feels bad. And time is everything. So you really are, like, Sombra really is, like, your goal is to scout number 1, get high value hacks number 2, and then hit E. Or hit Q. Not E. Hit
Never
Q.
duel Ana. Never ever duel Ana as Sombra.
I think you can take the duel, but, like, don't, like, try and win the duel. Like, accept that you're not, like, just accept that you won't win the duel. Unless you, like, decloak, instantly hack her, and kill her before she gets peeled for. You're never gonna win that duel. Because she just has too much shit in her kit to cuck you. She can just sleep you, she can nade you, and, like, if she nades herself, you actually can't kill her. It feels bad. Alright, I'm gonna answer some chat questions real quick. So, if I'm not invis for more than 50% of the match, I'm playing Sombra wrong? I mean, yeah, kinda. Like, you don't want to play, like, the biggest thing I was told was that, like, I played Sombra too much like Genji. You can't play Sombra like Tracer or like Genji. You have to play like this sneaky assassin. You have to play like the spy from TF2. Your goal is just to, like, recon for your team, get high value hacks, farm EMP, and then leave. Like, just be in and out.
My Winston accuracy is gonna plummet, dude. I got a spy check all the time now.
Yep. So big job for the
Winston accuracy, Omega low.
big job for tanks right now is, like, if you're D.Va and you hear a Sombra near you, you basically, like, your job is to literally spin in a circle and shoot until you decloak her.
Your job as Sombra is to spam voice lines and run away.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend
You're
it,
all alone.
but I mean, you can if you're a master troll.
I mean, isn't that what Sombra is, though?
Yeah, she is a master troll. I thought the recent updates to Sombra allow you to play more aggressive. Yes, like, it lets you play more aggressive in that you can take more aggressive positions, but your major benefit on Sombra in like any setting, like even in a solo queue setting, from what I've been practicing and like from what I'm seeing on ladder, is like the fact that you can literally sit in their backline and scout their every move, every cooldown they use, every ult they, because you can, like, the stupid thing about hack is that, like, you can hack someone for no reason and you know if they have ult or not. So you can just manually ult check people as Sombra. And, like, you get the hack off if you take a bunch of damage and you don't want to be there. You just translocate out and you're not in danger anymore.
So correct me if I'm wrong with Sombra, is essentially the new update. It made her, yes, better at being aggressive, but it made her even more, like, way better than that at recon. Like, just
exactly.
Like, infinitely better.
Exactly. So she can be more aggressive, but you get 60 times more value just by being a recon bot. Because Invis is free. Right? Before Invis was a tool that you used to get in position, but like it didn't last forever. Like it was a tool that made you faster, it made you temporarily invisible, so it was a good tool to get into a position to do something. Whereas now it's forever, so you might as well just scout people. Nothing can stop you from scouting people, so you get it for free, you might as well use it that way. Can Sombra work on a lot of different comps, or do you need to make up for her garbage tier damage? She works, like, from what I'm seeing right now, you just run Sombra every map. Like, you just play her every game, because there's so much value in knowing every step the enemy is making, that, like, you can run Death Ball and have a Sombra, and, like, the fact that she does no damage is still fine, just because you know what the enemy team has in their pocket, and you can work around that.
But if you compare it to like the time to kill of say like Genji, their time to kill isn't that much different. Like,
it really
Genji
isn't
offering that much damage. So if you're looking at it that way, do you have to make up for the damage that Genji does?
Nope.
How you do that is you just work together. You pounce and use that recon really well, which is why Sombra is insane and just far better than Genji right now.
Yup. Feels Genji, man. Dude, buff that hero. Let him be good. I'm sad. Just kidding. I'm not sad. I still get to play Genji on some maps. Okay. So then, going into 2. That was a lot of words, I know. Going into 2. Oh, missing most need suggestions. That's why all these things are missing. Okay, so going into 2, again, it's more of the same, right? Your Sombra I got rid of the attacking Sombra. On attack, your Sombra wants to get in position. Hopefully you have EMP at this point, so you're going to be looking to build EMP. You want to try and control a health pack somewhere on the map. You want to have your translocator set, and you want to be staging for a dive. If you're running something more deathball-y, then you kind of just want to look to push your advantages, and you want to be spy checking for the inevitable enemy Sombra, and not get EMP'd. Like, pretty much the way you play the first point is how you're going to play points 1 and 2. The only difference, I think, is that when you get to 3rd, this is where having that Rhine diva becomes a little bit stronger, just because this hallway is so much narrower. And like this choke point is so tight that you'll see a lot of fights kind of devolve here, and this is where you'll start to see more traditional comps with those spammy heroes start to arise, and you'll start to see these guys being played more. So this is where like Reinhardt or even a Zarya, like honestly you can bring a Zarya onto 3rd. This is where you'll see those kind of come back into style, just because this choke is so much tighter, and it's a lot harder to play off of the health packs in this area because they're kind of in really weird spots. Like very away from the fight. There's the other one. So 3rd is where you might come back to these sort of more spammy heroes or more traditional like death ball comps, but I think that like the Sombra dive is pretty strong throughout 1st and 2nd. Same thing on defense. And then of course on any of these points you can run Doomfist. Doomfist is insanely strong right now because he shits on Hammond, he shits on Ana, he shits on Zen, and he shits on Brig. So if the enemy team is running a Brigitte, you just run a Doomfist and 1-tap her, and it feels bad. Thoughts, questions, concerns? How did I fucking spend an entire hour on one map? What is wrong with me? I'm toxic.
Sombra, lol.
Sombra, forehead. Why don't you just run Bastion, forehead? Exactly. Come on, Feedcisco Shake. Where's your Bastion, forehead?
I'll go.
Yeah, I'll play as Bastion.
Foggers. This isn't Sombra related, but in my ranked games, I witnessed a Hammond get nanoed right before he pile-drivered, and it pretty much one-shot squishies. Do you think this is a viable thing to do? Honestly, I do think it's viable, because if you pile-drive onto someone and one-shots them, and then if you also have ult and you ult them, it's stupid. It just one-shots 200 HP heroes. It's a yikes. It's really strong.
If you want to do that, you probably want to run a Genji as well, because then you get dash resets off of everything that's low, off of that first pile driver, and then Blade next fight, and then, oh boy, that's a snowball.
Yep. People are always like, why do you recommend Genji with Hammond? It's because it's just dash reset city. Like, what do you do about that? Just don't get hit by the Hammond forehead.
That's why you play Ana into Hammond and just learn his patterns and shoot sleep darts.
Yes! Just put him to bed, because his head hitbox is tiny as fuck, so don't play Widow, but his body hitbox is
Heck yeah.
is bigger than Hog's. Feels good. There's finally a hero in this game who's thicker than Hog. At long
Actually,
last.
his head hitbox is tiny.
It also moves when the hamster moves while he emotes.
I hate it.
So, like, if you have there was, like, this dumb, like, someone made, like, a dumb solo Q strat video, or, like, if they were caught out in front of a Widow as Hammond, or, like, they were flashed by a McCree, they would use the fixing the mech emote, the one that makes the little hamster body run around the mech, because you can't hit it. You can't hit the head hitbox.
Wait, say that again?
Okay, so Hammond's head hitbox, right, is attached at all times to his little hamster head in the mech.
Oh my god.
Even if he's emoting and leaves the mech, it's still attached there. So if he emotes and he uses that emote where he runs around the mech and is like repairing it, his head hitbox moves with that.
That's so good.
We're gonna see strats with that. Seriously, we are.
Except for the fact that
It's
he's
gonna be somewhere.
still a fat hitbox.
So his body hitbox is massive, but good luck
There's gonna
clicking
be
his
legit
head.
strats.
Oh,
So yeah, someone put a video up on YouTube demonstrating that, and I was like, this is actually ridiculous. Blizzard, please fix it. Oh my god. Can you show the video? Let me see if I can find it.
and Plot's here.
Wait,
Everybody's like,
Poggers!
oh, it's hour late, let's go.
Oh, here it is. I think it's this one.
Okay. So, if Hammond is standing on a staircase.
Oh, this is
at
something
a certain
different.
altitude, you can't headshot him. Like, his head goes away.
Oh god, this is something
So
different.
if he's standing like right there and I'm standing right here, it's very inconsistent and I can't hit him. And it goes all the way down to his map.
What?
And even
Oh,
if
this
I
is worse.
scope in,
Well,
This is even worse!
I can't headshot him.
This is something else and it's worse.
Okay, that makes sense, because I've sworn I've hit Hammond in the head as Widow, and it just was like, no reg. I was like, what?
Oh my god, this hero is broken.
What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Got a fast and funny little test for you. Bing cheer emote. Let's find out.
Oh yeah, here's an example with the jumping emote.
Shoot him, you loser. Come on.
I know, right?
The
It's like,
answer
you're
is
taking
yes.
forever.
And it's hilarious.
Even my chat's like, take the shot. But yeah, so if you do like the running around the mech.
Body is
Okay, here we go.
sumo.
One more
Banger.
back. Okay, here we go.
Like a-
This one.
Whoa, did you see that pause when you...
Yeah. So imagine trying to headshot this now.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, the machine, you know.
Not this one. The
kind of
next one,
upholds
chat.
it
seems
in
pretty easy.
its idle mode, sheepishly looking up and down, left and
That
right.
one
with
I
its
like. Yeah.
eye. Yeah.
Can
quite
everyone
good,
just
you
use that
snug
one by
little
accident?
bastard.
No,
Repair it.
this one. Imagine trying to hit this shit.
Oh god.
How do you hit that in the head? So that is... Oh wait, exit.
Not Rialto.
Not Rialto. Let's take a look at something else. One more map. We'll take a look at another map before I take the dog out for a walk.
Honestly, I think Anubis is one of the harder maps. Like, not like that we should run all the 100 ways to dive on Anubis, but more just like...
How
support
to deal
positioning
with
on
Anubis?
Anubis is really tough.
That's fair. Alright, let's do it. Okay. Let's take a look at Anubis. So, we have Anubis. What do you guys like to run on Anubis? We can talk about Sombra again, but it's basically the same rules as Rialto. Same rules and same comps, basically.
We normally do run Pharah on Anubis.
Poggers. Something a little bit off meta and a little bit more difficult. Let's do it. Okay, so
We
Far
don't have
Mercy.
to have it though.
We don't have to have it, but we can strat around it. What other DPS do we want to run? I'm gonna guess a Widowmaker, but you could also run Sombra. You can run Tracer. You can run Genji. Like, there's tons of. You can run McCree if you're really ballsy.
You're really feeling like getting dived.
Yeah, run McCree. Okay. We'll run it. I would say I would highly recommend personally Sombra or Widowmaker.
I love working with Sombras, so I'm down.
Yeah, I like Sombra or Widowmaker here.
Yeah, same.
Sombra this is one of Sombra's best maps even before she got changed, because when you come up, you can come into the little room between platform and long. You can take this mega from them immediately, which means the defending team can never fight you there ever again. You can take short for your teammates if you want to push up through stairs, and then you can take halls for yourself, which is really powerful, or you can deny them the mini next to nest. So you have a lot of really, really powerful health kits to work off of as Sombra on this map. And this all kind of just comes down to where you want to push. With Pharah on this map, the biggest difficulty and the biggest thing you have to work around is the fact that they are most likely going to want to run a Widow who's going to be positioned in nest. And you need to work around the fact that I'm going to go to blue so it actually matches the color. You're going to have to work around that she has sight lines of, well, I guess we can let go of that one. All of that, right? All of this is her sight line positioned on nest. So that's really scary as far as, because that's a lot of area for you that is denied. And you have to think about how you're going to get in on this. The good news is you do have options, right? Especially when you're running a Sombra on your team. So one of the really good things about Sombra is that Sombra actually hard counters Widow at this point in time. It is actually so unbelievably fucking annoying to play Sombra, or to play Widow into a Sombra, that literally it like most of the time in scrims, like we were playing Gibraltar, as soon as there's a Sombra on me and I'm Widow and our team doesn't also have a Sombra, I just swap off. Because there's no point. I'm just gonna get harassed and fucking chased around the map the entire time. Because there's nothing you can do about it. And she can just like literally sneak up onto you, stand right on top of you, and one clip you. Like, just instantly decloak, one clip you, and like, what are you gonna do? Spin 180 degrees and hit the headshot? Maybe. If you're like fucking Calvin or something.
Sure for?
Or sure for, yeah. Okay, so one of the things you can do here, if you want to run a Sombra, is you can have your Sombra come out. I would probably go in through short, but you can also go in through long, whichever one you want. And I would honestly just take your time, whichever way you want to do it. Get your Sombra. If they are running a Widow, just put your Sombra in on nest. In fact, no matter what comp they're running, let your Sombra like just literally wait as a group, whether you're running a Widow or not. Just wait as a group. Let your Sombra get into position somewhere. Maybe that's going to be on nest. Maybe that's going to be on balcony or in halls. Maybe that's going to be on point or like hanging out around mid. Wherever she's going to set up, like let her get in position, let her scout. And honestly, what you can do is she can do a couple of things, right? She can say, hey, they have a Widow. When we're ready to engage, when we're ready to run around the corner, I have my translocator set up. I'm going to harass the Widow. And so what you can do as far as, you can wait for that call from your Sombra, wait until the Widow is occupied, and use that time to get into whatever position you need to be in for the actual fight to happen. So maybe you want to go in and get set up on Sneaky, and then you can come in onto this little platform here, and you can start dealing damage onto platform. Whoops. I would like the draw button. You can deal platform damage onto platform, onto bridge, down into mid, onto point. You can immediately rotate through short into balcony and onto halls and contest them on this side. You can dive the Widow with your Sombra and one tap her because feels bad. You can go all the way on the flank and play all the way in the back and set your Mercy up in the closet up here, or contest if they're running a Zen or an Ana who's hiding on closet or in balcony, you can go contest them. But basically, you can let your Sombra occupy the Widow for you so you can gain space to wherever you want to go on the map.
I love that the call out for that place is Sneaky, because I go there for almost every Anubis game in like competitive.
It's really strong. It's a really strong position for Pharah because it's the Widow can't shoot you over this like little thing right here.
There's a lot of people in Plat that don't know it exists, and I didn't know that call out for it at all.
Well,
I called it Window.
Window, Sneaky, all the same thing.
I'm calling it Sneaky forever now.
Poor Widow. Yeah, Widow has a bad time versus Sombra, guys. It's not fun. If you want to run a Widow instead, then the goal as far as you kind of just have to wait until your Widow can get into position to take the Widow duel. Right? And you have to wait until your Widow is invested in the duel to get into position. Or you have to, like, maybe you can, like, peek shoot from this corner to kind of just, like, unsettle her. Or, like, maybe your Widow goes for a really ballsy hook shot out of the spawn and, like, picks their Widow. I've done that in scrims before. So you'd be surprised what kind of garbage you can do that will get rid of a Widow who's alone on nest.
Just for another option that you could run with DPS, you could potentially run Widow Sombra.
Yep,
because
absolutely.
then you could have the Sombra immediately just run up to nest, get a distraction going, and then your Widow just wins that duel.
Your Widow just instantly wins that duel. Yep, absolutely. So
it's the same thing as Pharah, except it takes a little less time to set up.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, as soon as your Sombra's up top, your Widow can hook top, and then the Widow just loses the fight. So Pharah's an option if that's how you like. That's how I would play Pharah if you were gonna play Pharah on this map. I would just pretty much, like, no matter what the meta is, this is a really, like, this first point. In fact, this whole map is really, really strong for Widow, and, like, this nest position is really, really strong for Widow. So most of the time you can assume there's going to be a Widow in nest, and if there isn't a Widow in nest, and if there isn't a Widow in nest and they're running a Widow, their Widow is a thrower, or is bad, or I don't fucking know what, like, that is the Widow spot. Most likely they're not running a Widow, at which point you have way more breathing room as far to kind of just get into positions that you want. Without going into too much depth about all the different places you can dive, how do I draw a circle? Okay. Your primary dive locations are going to be... Wait, that went back to the circle. Okay. You can dive platform, right? You have your Monkey and Diva, literally, for example... Monkey and Diva. You have Monkey and Diva literally just walk in here. Like, your Diva DMs your Winston down here. Once she has DM back up, they dive onto platform. You can have them go in through long, do the same thing, dive onto the platform. You can have them walk in through short and dive the platform. You can have them curve all the way around up the top into halls, into balcony, and then if there's somebody alone in closet, they can dive people in closet, or they can dive bridge, they can dive mid, or you can send them all the way through Sneaky, right? It takes a little bit of setup time. Get them onto house, and they can dive nest. So a lot of places you can send Winston Diva around the map. There actually needs to be a clear all. Reset no. I don't want to reset. Oh, draw size. Make the there we go. Just make the eraser really fucking big. forehead.
Flap.
Okay. If you don't want to dive platform, or if their team is holding somewhere, well, I guess we talked about platform, we talked about bridge, we talked about mid, we talked about nets, we talked about closet. One other thing you can run is you can run like a Hammond Diva, for example, or you can run Hammond, Winston, and where is Diva? There you are, Diva. Right? Your Hammond goes up, he hooks onto this thingy, or this one, and just wrecking balls them off. And then you just get to walk at them wherever they're knocked off. Or, like, if he knocks... Oh, God! Really long cheer. Holy shit. Thank you so
Poggers.
much for the 49 bits, Spartan 1043. Much appreciated, babes. Why was that so loud for me? What the fuck? Whichever
I actually
direction...
heard it through your headphones.
Through the headphones, right?
Yeah.
It was really loud. I don't know why it's so loud. Maybe I have like Streamlabs. I have Streamlabs turned up really high. That's why. Jesus. Whichever way Wrecking Ball knocks them off, like the tanks can either jump onto it, or they can just walk onto them. So Wrecking Ball is an option, or like you can just have the Diva instead of multiple tanks. Lots of options. If they're running like a more bunker defense instead of dive tanks of their own, you can have the Sombra go to do things like hack the Orisa, and then they have no shield, and then diving onto them is actually evil. But if you are anticipating them having dive tanks of their own, which is very common, you can probably expect them to be parked on this high ground above short, and they'll be looking to dive people who either walk in through main, that's really big, or they'll be looking to fall on people who are walking underneath bridge. And what you can do in that scenario, right, is you wait for them to fall, right? They've fallen. You take a little bit of skirmish. You can have your Sombra hack the Diva, and then the Diva is actually like 600 HP of free ult charge, and then use that momentum to then dive people, or like you take a little bit of poke here, you identify where their supports are hiding off, maybe they're in nest or something, and then you ignore their tanks, go for the dive, and then their tanks have to use all their cooldowns to come to you. You can just disengage, walk away, and depending on where your health packs are, you can quite literally fall from here onto platform back into the mega if you need to. So if they have dive tanks, you basically just have to think about where their dive tanks are playing and force them to peel. And then just disengage if they peel really hard. Playing around Sombra hacks is basically the rule of the Sombra.
Second support is most likely going to be Ana on attack.
Yep.
But Zen could also work, maybe.
Yeah, you can still run Zen Mercy, Zen Mercy here, because he can kind of play, he can play pretty safe, right? Like he can park himself, where is our red Zen? He can park himself about here, and that he can peek this corner and get discords on people, and then if he needs to retreat because the Sombra's harassing him, he can retreat on this side right into the Mega here, or if he's playing on this side, it's a little bit further, but he can retreat onto the Mega on this side. So he does have some options. He can also play in short. If you know they don't have the Mega, he can play in the room behind Sneaky as well. So you can run Winston, you can run Mercy Zen. I think Goats on this map is like on attack is still really strong. You basically just can bum rush point, right?
Run away, run Goat's forehead.
Yeah, just be run away, run Goat's forehead, and make them come to you, and then beat the shit out of them on point, because that's how Goats works.
But Slime is actually disgusting. Like, let's just take a moment to appreciate how good Slime is at Lucio.
I love him. He's a good boy.
Like, just the amount of coordination that he has every time. Their team is just like on top of the one target that their team needs to be on. And it's like, how do you do that as a Lucio? That's insane.
He's a god. And yeah, Lucio is really nice on this point, because like just like how Pharah can go for boops on people on platform and knock them all over the place, Lucio can do the same thing. It's a little bit riskier. You kind of have to play like It's a little bit closer to like that Reddit Lucio where you have to come in here and boop them and then go back to your team, but it is like a thing you can do.
If you guys want to watch a really, really good video on like Toby's playstyle on Lucio, I think it was Sideshow did a 45-minute playstyle analysis on him. Last year. It was really, really good actually.
Really good to watch. And then, so on defense, what you want to do is, like I said, you're probably going to have your Winston and your Diva parked on the ground above short. Where the fuck is Winston? There he is. So you can have Winston and Diva parked here. You can have an Orisa parked on platform. You can also park her on nest and do kind of like a treehouse strat with a Widowmaker of your own. Also really good because you can put your Ana on nest. You can put your Ana on balcony. You can put your Ana in the closet.
But isn't Ana better on balcony just by default, because she
Yeah.
kind of has the same rules as Zen, is because you want to be near a health pack so you can kind of pocket yourself with a health pack.
Yeah, exactly. So like
And there's way
primarily,
less sight lines.
yeah, exactly. I primarily think balcony is the best place to play Ana. Some people will play her on nest. Like if you're playing your whole team on nest, sometimes it's okay to have the Ana right there if you want her to be safe and be playing like inside of her tanks. Some people will do the nest defense and they'll put Ana in closet and have her rotate into halls. But I agree with you. I think balcony is the strongest place to put an Ana, just in general. But defense here is pretty much, you want to stop them. You want to either dive on them when they come in through some sort of choke, or invest a bunch of cooldowns on their dive, or you want to bunker down and then drop onto point to contest them. Just remember that if at any point your Ana dies, you have to give up 2 ticks. Because, haha,
Okay,
2
I
CP.
do have to peace out
Okie
from
dokie.
the video call, so I'm gonna watch the stream for the rest of it. I gotta call my brother real fast.
Sounds good. Catch you later, hun.
Thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
I have one Mimi thing to say before we move on to point B.
Yeah.
What would Jane think of you saying running treehouse?
Look, he hates Treehouse, but it's everywhere. It's
I don't
not
know.
my
It's
fault.
good, but it's bad.
It's
Like,
good.
I don't know.
It's like goats. It's good for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And another thing is you probably want to run platform for your defense and run a Widow, right? On defense, because you'd be running Widow and Nest and then Ana balcony. Then the
Exactly.
rest of your team would be running platform.
Yep.
Because then your Ana has 0 sightline to the enemy Widow, which is
Yep.
something that you want.
Your Widow can fight the enemy Widow from safety. And has a
platform
healer.
Is
When-
super well protected by the Ana being able to
Just
all the
dump
heals in
all the
world
heals
into
into
it.
people. Yep. Yep, that is pretty much the standard defense, is you have 1, 1, and 4. And your 1, 1, 4, oops, looks like this. 1, 1, and the rest of your team is on 4. Pretty much. Okie
Also, I
dokie.
feel like a lot of people in your stream don't know the reference to why I was saying that.
Oh, Jane hates treehouse defense. If you don't know what treehouse defense is, it's where you park like Orisa and a bunch of other shit. Like usually you have a Widow. Sometimes you have a hog. Oops, that's a red hog. You have like a hog, or you have like a diva. Basically, you park the whole team on the high ground and you bunker down and you sacrifice an off tank to contest the point.
And the whole reason why I joke about it is because I was casting a tournament that Wild Rose Saints were in, and
Yes!
Jane literally typed in match chat, "I didn't choose to do this," just so Jane's chat would not get angry at him.
Yeah, because we did run bunker defense. What did I play in that bunker defense? What the hell was I on? Oh, I was on Mercy. I was the feeding
Kevin was
Mercy
on
bot.
Widow.
I was on Mercy.
Yeah, you're on Mercy. That's right.
That was a good times, chat. We'll have to dig up that VOD. That's a good VOD to rewatch for Prosperity, especially that Kings Row game.
Also, Kevin is known right currently because of Team Canada is known for his diva, but he has a nutty
He's a
will.
nutty everything. He can play every single. People are like, is he just a DPS player? I'm like, no, Kevin can play every single fucking hero in the game at 4.4k. Every single fucking hero. He is nuts. And that's why I'm glad he's on Team Canada, because he's a god, and he's my son, and I love him, and he's pure and good. And you should all subscribe to Kevin OW on Twitch. He's my good son. I love him. Maybe we'll host him again if he's on tonight, because we did host him a couple nights ago. I joined into a Kevin rant. Yes, you did. Also, Spartan 10043. Thank you again for another 100 bits with the surprise. I turned down the volume this time, so I heard it, but it didn't scare the shit out of me this time. Heh. Okay, taking a look at Anubis Point 2. So this is that last little bit. Okay, so if you are running a Sombra, this is key. If you are on offense, if you have the opportunity to take the Mega under bridge, you need to take it. And if you are the defending Sombra, if there is any doubt in your mind that the enemy team is going to cap point A, do not contest. You should never ever contest. Always fall back to bridge and grab the Mega. Because the Sombra who holds this Mega holds the game. This Mega is the strongest fucking thing on point B for a Sombra. It is so valuable. You do not want to lose this Mega to the other Sombra.
So it's still exactly like Overwatch League's Stage 1, where you just hack Mega under bridge and win.
Yep. Hack Mega under bridge, you win the game. And, like, no matter what comp you're running on defense, if you are trying to stop the snowball coming into B, have your flex DPS just swap to Sombra. Just swap to Sombra and hack it. It's worth it. They'll build ult fast enough, and denying them that Mega is just insane. And then, so on attack here, it's pretty standard. It's pretty much the way it always was. You can either rush through. Oh wait, you can either rush through main, you can go through underground, or you can go right. Either way, you kind of want to identify where the enemy team is posted up, and you want to engage on them. Biggest things to think about here is to watch for people playing on. There's a little thing here. I call this thing called Crow's Nest. So there's like a little thing there. There's like a little pillar there. It doesn't show in the top down where people can stand. Every single hero in the game can walk up here. There's like a box here and can make this jump onto Crow's Nest. Every single hero can make that jump. So if you can get onto Crow's Nest and use it as a dive spot, it's super huge. But you also want to like be wary of them posting up a Widow or any kind of thing on Crow's Nest because it has really big sight lines. But Sombra doesn't get ult charge for health packs. She doesn't, right? She doesn't get ult charge off the health packs. But the reason she gets like really big free farm when you have that Mega is it gives you a safe place to fall back uncontested every single time. And so what you can do as Sombra on this point, right, is you throw your translocator somewhere in. When the enemy team is grouping up in main or they're just respawning, you go in, you do a bunch of poke, you leave, right? You grab the Mega, you're full HP again, you throw your translocator somewhere else, you invis, you go back to scouting, you poke, right? Maybe you get a pick off on the Zen or something, you translocate back. Or you get a pick and the enemy team starts pushing, you translocate back. And like what happens is if you start this when people are just spawning, you can literally get 2 of those in before the enemy team like passes through gate if you're on defense. So you can farm. I actually got a clip from Scrims the other day. People did not believe me that you can farm ult really fucking fast on Sombra. I'm going to show you a clip example of myself. Manage my clips. Here we go. It's this first one. The only context you need to know here is that I was running Widow. This is a map where like I got contested by the enemy Sombra. And like it was making my life horrible, so I swapped off Widow onto Sombra and just watch what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was scared of. No, Sombra does not care.
a Sombra touch point.
Okay. Let's do it.
Come, we touch her. Don't back off. You have to touch Winston.
I don't think I can.
Sombra behind us.
Sombra in the middle.
Oh!
We can just
The
take a
hack
fight.
grip.
We can take a fight. They're getting
they do.
baited. Let's get this event.
Doomfist
Oh,
half.
bye, Doomfist.
Lucio low. Oh, I'm on Diva with you.
Diva low.
Oh, I got hacked. Fuck. 51 on EMP. So I died, right? I was alive for 30 seconds. I have 50% ult. Like, I just walked out of spawn and got 50% ult immediately. So Sombra can hack ult super fast. So, or can farm ult super fast off of people regardless of health pack now. So like if you get 2 contests on like the enemy backline before they even make it through a choke point, it's pretty scary. Like you can farm EMP really fast. And that's a big no-no. Like you do not want to like commit ult and push through, like have your team push through bridge and then instantly get EMP'd because you just lose the game. So, Sombra, very scary. Sombra was always extremely powerful on Anubis, and now she's even worse. She's, like, literally actually even more strong. Especially since you can hack them, so they can't use things like DM or Zarya Shield. Exactly. And, like, the biggest counter right now to Hammond is Sombra, because he's really bad versus... Like, when he's hacked, he's actually free all charge. It's really scary. Thoughts or questions from the team? Oh, go ahead.
On offense, I was thinking about it, and going through alley into ruins is reasonably one of the best ways to attack, because you can jump pretty much immediately onto the flex support, because they're kind of just sitting there going, hey guys, I'm standing in front of the statue, and it's like, oh, I see the team coming, I should rotate back towards spawn, and then they're just like, oh, their whole team's on me.
Yep.
See ya.
It's basically the same thing as if you went onto Crow's Nest, but like with the added bonus of you don't have to worry about people making the jump. Like the not using cooldown, you know which jump I mean. Maybe chat doesn't, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So you can attack through ruins, you can attack through underground, you can attack through main. It's pretty much standard fare Temple of Anubis 2CP. Find your dive target, jump on them, or if you have Rhine, get in, get aggressive, kill things, kill their respawners, focus your targets as a group. In the Sombra v Sombra, don't lose the health pack under bridge or you lose the game, feels bad. Yeah. What about you, chat? So who's our Sombra ringer? Still Swiss? It's me. I am the Sombra ringer. Gladiator god. The godly Sombra. It's me, OG Whale God.
Lying.
Misfit GG, thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, that's Anubis for you. Feels
So
2CP, man.
with flex support, you probably still want to be standing like just kind of to the right of bridge on defense, and then your left if you're facing outwards, of course.
Yeah.
Like there. Yeah, and then you just like rotate back and just past ruins towards spawn. Things start getting crazy.
Pretty much. Just be
I mean,
careful.
It sucks.
The biggest thing is be careful not to go... I should do that in a different color. Don't go this way. There used to be a lot of people who would go this way, and if they run a Sombra, you actually get deleted. You actually get deleted.
Doesn't even matter. Even before Sombra,
you would get deleted.
Because Winston would just be like, oh, hi, you're stuck in a corner now, see ya.
Yep. Babs!
Yeah,
Hello,
babes.
babes.
The only trap is that, like, if you are standing where you should initially be standing, you don't get shots in on choke when you're going through, but that shouldn't be your focus, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Playing close to support is still pretty rough for supports. I agree with you, Babs. It's tough. Like, it's hard, because if you play really far back, right? You get no ult charge. If you play really far forward, you make yourself an easy dive target. So you kind of have to like think about what the enemy ult charge is, what their game plan is, what their win condition is, and figure out use that to figure out whether you want to position really passively and look just to heal your team and immediately escape into spawn, or if you think you can play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more dangerously to farm just that little bit of extra ult charge. But yeah, I agree with what Babs is saying in chat. Monkey jumps deep, Diva flies in behind you, you get body blocked, you get cucked, same way as if you like try and retreat into ruins, or God forbid you run into Cubby.
Oh no.
But yeah, that takes us to the end of Anubis. And probably the end of the stream, because I think the dog needs to go for a walk, because it's now 8:30, and she's probably like, Mommy, I want to go outside. But I hope that was helpful for the team.
For sure.
Yay! I'm glad. I'm glad that was
It's
helpful.
It's helpful for me, at least. I got to think about things and understand things better.
Yeah. And I hope that was helpful for chat, too. It was kind of like not something we usually do, but it was good. Yeah, no doggo cam? Yeah, she's upstairs. She's upstairs. Anyways, I'm going to end the voice call here and, like, say goodbye to chat, but thank you guys for, like, being able to make it, especially because it was, like, kind of short notice. Smile forehead. Nice coach, by the way. But, yeah, hopefully that is helpful, and good luck at Open Dip. Kick some ass. I believe in you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, bye, babe.